Ever wondered what separates the seven-figure wholesalers from the rest of the hardworking investors who can never make a breakthrough? Well, I've analyzed the top wholesalers in the country, and I've spent over 300 hours studying their deals, their business, and their strategies, and even having personal case studies, and even going through the exact same path myself, from struggling to find my first deal to closing over 300 deals over the last 2 years. And what I found was that there's patterns. You see, there's quiet, underrated behaviors that led to massive success. And in this video, I'll be breaking down the 7 lessons that transform struggling investors into deal-making machines. And this comes with no fluff, no theory, just what actually works and what may be the missing link of your real estate wholesaling journey. Now, let's get started with the video. You see, the mistake that I see happen very often is that wholesalers don't track their KPIs. And what does KPI stand for? Key performance indicators. You see, wholesaling, it's all about sales and marketing. And you got to know what the conversions are, because there's something that's called the cash conversion cycle, the cost per contract, and the profit per deal. Those are the 3 most important things that it comes to your wholesaling business. And as you can see from my screen over here, this is last year's KPIs for the half of the year. And you see I have a bunch of channels. And if you take a look here at the return on investment to the right, you see that we had a 4.81, and that made us almost $450,000. And the rest, the rest of the channels gave us like 1 to 2x. And I made the math over all these channels, and it was over $130,000 that I could have put on this PPC channel, and it would have given me a 4.1 return instead of just wasting that. And I would have made over $500,000 in extra profit if I would have started tracking my KPIs early. So if you don't like doing your KPIs, you're never going to scale. And trust me, I was there, but I was like, oh, I'm hustling, I'm getting deals, making sure these deals happen. And I never wanted to track them. And doing this took me 2 hours, and I delayed it for like 2.5 years. So if I would have done this earlier, I would have made so much more money, and I would have netted so much more profit. So you need to take a look into your KPIs and start tracking them, because you can grow if you don't know what you're shooting for, right? Mistake number two was delegating marketing. You see, most people think that investors can't handle the marketing on their own. But as you can see here, this is one of our Facebook campaigns. We got, close to 220 leads at an average of $30 per lead. And we only need 25 leads to get one contract. And we're making anywhere from $17,000 to $20,000 per deal. And bringing this in-house was one of the biggest levers that I was able to do. And this is actually what we teach our students. We teach them how to run Facebook ads by themselves, so that they're not paying that agency fee, and they know how to market themselves, because no one's going to care as much as you will as the founder. So if you can be the one on the ads and close more deals, your conversions are going to be way better, and you're going to be at a better spot than your competition. So if you can bring this in-house, it'll be huge, because you're going to end up making more money and saving even more money. So I recommend putting that in-house and not outsourcing it, because you only need one channel to start scaling. Mistake number 3 is chasing revenue instead of profit, right? And we got to be able to reverse engineer based on net goals. So let's say that your goal is to get to 50K per month, and you know that your average deal size is 17,500. What this does is gives you actionable steps on how much marketing spend you need to have per month in order to achieve that goal. So let's say you know that your average profit per deal is 17 and a half, and you have a success rate of 75%. Success rate just means if you contract 10 deals and you're at 75% close rate, that means that 25% fall out. Now, there's always going to be deals that fall through the cracks due to title issues, maybe extra repairs, maybe the seller changed, their mind. So you got to be able to account for those, because that means you need to lock up the additional in order to close the deals that you want, right? But let's say that your goal is to get to 50K per month. That means that you will need 3 deals to close at 17 and a half in order to get to that 50K per month, because like one deal is gonna fall out. If you are at like 3, 4 deals a month, one's gonna fall out probably. And if you're making 17 and a half per deal, that's how the projections basically come from. And you got to be able to know your leads per deal. So for us on Facebook, it's 25 leads to a contract. And let's say our average cost per lead was $40. If we're trying to get to 50K per month, that means that we need to spend $3,800 a month in order to get 95 leads so that we can contract one in 25. So you need to build upon profit. And after the revenue, you need to account for the expenses and how much you want to net as a business owner. And if you don't do this, you're just flying blindly. Now, mistake number 4 is acting like a hustler and not a CEO. You see, a hustler, they take on every sales call. They don't track their KPIs. They call manually. They don't have a system. They're chasing revenue and vanity metrics, and they have no marketing plan. But a CEO, they build a sales team and they give them replicable, action items, sales process, training in order to close more deals. And a CEO knows their cost per lead, their leads to a deal, and the cash conversion cycles, and how much money they're making per deal in order to make a plan on how much money they want to make. And then they're also building inbound systems that sellers chase after them instead of them having to chase after the lead, because they're saying like, hey, I do want to sell, and you can do this with a profitable inbound channel. For us, we love Facebook, but a CEO knows their marketing spend and how it performs, right? Also, a CEO is optimizing based on profit and not just revenue. So you got to be able to account for that. And they also reverse engineer the revenue based on their marketing budget. So the sooner you do this, the quicker that you're going to grow. Mistake number 5 is they think that no one can sell or close like them, or that other people are not as good as them, right? And this is a limited belief that only you can change. So for me, once I started implementing and thinking like a real business owner and giving my team sales training and onboarding and expectations and giving feedback over the calls, I hired one of my guys and he got 27 contracts in 90 days, when the standard is that the new closer is going to get 4 to 6 deals, the first 30 days. My guy was getting 8 to 10 a month. And that's because he was really good. We were also able to train him really good and give him the onboarding and the necessary tools in order for him to scale. So the sooner that you kill the limited belief, the quicker that you're going to be able to delegate to your team so that you can start focusing on the most important levers of the business. Now, mistake number 6 is poor cash management. You see, I talked to a bunch of wholesalers that want to work with us, but they are always struggling. They're always like waiting for a deal to close. And that's because they don't account for their cash properly. And you see, I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say a wholesaler makes 20K on a deal. He's gonna spend 15K on random stuff, and he's gonna scramble like 5K in taxes, and they're gonna have no savings. But the smart investor, if they make the same 20 grand, they're gonna save 20% of that into a profit account, 30% into owner's pay, 30% for expenses, and the rest for taxes. There's a breakdown of recommendation depending on the revenue goal, which you can see down here below, depending if you are, 250 to like a million to past a million. There's some good recommendations, but it all comes down to what the goal is and what you're trying to build for. But the sooner that you implement this, the better that you're going to be off. Now, mistake number 7 is having shiny object syndrome. They want to try the next marketing channel, the next sales process, the next freaking hire, the next creative strategy, but they never know what actually works. So you need to put your head down and commit to one channel, master it, get skilled, become better, be a better leader. And the quicker that you do this and you dominate 1 to 2 channels, the quicker that you're going to scale. And there you have it, guys. Now you know the 7 most common mistakes that stop 99% of wholesalers from ever hitting $100,000 per month. And if you keep on making them, you'll stay stuck hustling. But if you're one of the few that can actually fix them, you'll start building a real business that actually serves your life. And here's the truth. You can take on this information and try to figure it out on your own. But that's exactly how I wasted years and left hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. And if you want me to personally help you and implement this step by step with our sales process, our marketing systems, and everything that I've used to close over 300 deals, click a link down below and let's book a call and see if you qualify so that we can work together and help you scale and build a wholesale business that actually, makes profit, not just chasing revenue. And if you enjoyed the video, I appreciate it if you liked it, subscribe. And with that being said, I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you, guys.